Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Pod Racing Tournament. We are in round one Swiss. We got HOMURA versus RamOfPluto. I'll be your commentator today, Domare. We're looking for a nice, good race here. This is going to be a best of seven starting on Spice Mine Run. Both of these players have prior tournament experience. However, HOMURA is definitely favored on paper. So we'll see what can happen. Not sure exactly what Ram is capable of, but Homura is one of only two people to have a 338 on this track. So see how we can get things going. All right, Homer is off and Ram is off. Oh man, you can already see Homer has got a pretty good distance on Ram here just by being more consistent about the boosting around corners. So Ram is going to be forced to use boost in places that really you don't want to, such as this fast train here. And again, doesn't boost around the corner. A little bit of overly conservative gameplay from Ram so far. Oh, dies anyway. Ah, man. You hate to see that. Homer keeping it clean, coming in close to the end of lap one. Does not need to push a lot in order to get a solid run here. And based off the time, is keeping it pretty good, pretty conservative. Probably 340-ish pace, which is an excellent time. All right. We're coming to the downhill of lap two. Still on a very excellent run here. You can see the gap between Homura and Ram is quite substantial. Even if you were to take out that death, it would not be a very close fight currently. Pluto successfully makes it through the downhill section without dying on lap two, so we're good to see that. Homer coming into the ending market on a very, very good pace still. See what exactly we're working with here. Yeah. Homer's chefing up a nice run. Ram is fighting the boost here in the market section, coming into the end of lap two. Lost about 6 seconds that lap, but all right. Both have made it successfully past the dozer, although, oh, right before the fast train, Ram of Pluto takes a second death. That fast train is going to alleviate some of the pain of dying, but definitely not all of it. Homer in the last tunnel uphill for lap three, coming into the final market section. Oh, Ram of Pluto dies again. Minecart just getting right in their way. And that's a 339.932 for Homura, just squeezing in below the 340 mark. Very, very impressive stuff. Ram of Pluto coming out of the final market on the last straight is a cross with a 410.902. All right. And that does mean that we will be taking us to Ram of Pluto's first pick in this match, which is going to be Bulba's Legacy with Skips. Okay. Unfortunately, my computer is fighting me a little bit here in the commentary. And given that's the case, I am going to quickly I'll go ahead and restart my. All right, I have made it back. My apologies for that. My internet was just completely freaking out. I do believe that I have not missed the actual race, but I could be wrong. No, I don't believe I did. Okay, perfect. Good deal. Countdown was given already, though. So we should see the real race here. And it looks like we do have that going. Let me go ahead and get these synced up here. All right, so we're on Bull's Legacy with skips without Ben here. So we do have a Bullseye versus Mars Whoa race. It's always quite interesting. Mars is the faster of the two pods, but is more difficult to use. Both are looking decently comfortable here, but obviously Homura is already pulling out a pretty sizable lead. So we will need to see mistakes for Ram to be able to take this one. There we go. No mistake on that lap. Homura is through on to lap 3. Ram coming to the skip on lap 2. Oh, takes a death on the skip. So easy to do, just to clip that wall there. All right, Homura coming up near the end already for this lap. All right, and Homer's across the line with a minute 50.142, taking race 2 in this match. And Rams across with a 202.835. That means we will be moving on to the next of RamOfPluto's picks, which is Dethro's Revenge with skips. Now, the question I have about a pick like this is it an attempt to bait Homura into doing skips? Or did Ram take the time to learn one of the skips on Dethro's? Now, the reason why I hesitate to believe the second option is because it's not a very popular skip. Not very many people know how to do either the old shorter cut or the newer big jump. In addition to that, the newer big jump is also particularly inconsistent, and that would not be recommended to do whatsoever in a tournament setting. So I'm very curious to see what it is that we're actually going to get from RamOfPluto here. I am not quite sure what to expect. Homura picks up Ben, almost certainly going to do just the full trick. Yep, Homura not even going to attempt the skip here in practice. Let's see what Ram's got. 24 FPS would not be, would not be the FPS I would have chosen to do skips. So Ram deciding to navigate around the full track option and just used it to potentially try to bait something out, but unfortunately, Homura not falling for it today. This is, in fact, triforcing. right. Do we have a countdown yet? Not quite yet. I almost wonder if perhaps the skips pick was just to gain a little bit of a warm up time. So, for those who don't know, in warm ups for this year, if they have a full track pick, they get 2.5 minutes to warm up. And if they have a skips pick, they get 3.5 minutes to warm up. So, I almost wonder if Ram intentionally used skips on a track that is not common to see skips on, knowing Homer would not do the skip just to have an extra minute. That would be some interesting use of a force point. I'm not sure I fully agree with it strategically, but if you don't feel confident doing something else, then that's completely fair. If I were Ram, I probably would have picked up something like, like an Abyss skip or Inferno skip just to try to take some cheeky points away from Homura here. But I suppose we will see what happens. All right, looks like we did get a countdown, but I do not believe either of them have started yet. I'm going to go ahead and jump both of them forward back to 0 on this. That may have potentially been Ram's start. No, it was not. Okay, perfect. Then the real race begins on restart race. Let's see what happens here. Ram is in. Homer is in. And we have the smallest sink pretty much that you can ever ask for. Oh, I overdid it, in fact. Okay, well, it would appear I'm not going to get it any better than that. Oh, it is what it is. All right, Homer again already ekes out a bit of a lead here. Oh, that was some scary bonks that they both took there. It's very easy to be slightly facing the wrong direction and just not come out of that corner. All right. Homer keeping it clean in this match has yet to take a death so far. Ram has taken a few, but has not taken one here. Hopefully, they will keep it clean, as they will need Homura to make at least one major mistake now. Potentially more than that. 42.20 compared to a 44.18 with it looked like roughly a 6-second lead for Homura. And Ram is burning up more time here with that lack of boosting in those sections. It's really hurting him. Homura, again, just completely clean. Absolutely no major mistakes in sight. Driving at the level that just needs to be done. Ending section, boosting through these final corners. Going in for the out of bounds finish. And there it is with a 207.221. Homura takes race 3 in this match. RamOfPluto coming in for a respectable 215.930. And apparently that was a PB for RamOfPluto. So GG on that. Always impressive, no matter what the time is, to PB in a tournament setting.
You'll come back, huh? You want the last one?
All right. So the last of RamOfPluto's picks is going to be the ever exciting Mongaza Speedway. For those who are not familiar with this game, Mongaza Speedway is the shortest track in the game by a long margin. It is extremely tight on the technicality of inputs when it comes to going quick, but what it does do in a tournament setting is it means that Ram, keeping it clean, has a chance if Homura makes a slight input mistake and dies on one of these corners. Now, I do not believe that Homura is going to have any issues keeping it clean under most situations, but something like Mongaza Speedway is just prone to going just that little bit wrong. And that little bit wrong is a lot more time than most people will lose on the track. Homura in practice, just a little over 40 seconds. Would not be surprised if he's able to get that down below 40, but it is difficult to say. It is going to be very difficult to have either of these have a chance at being synced here, just because this track is so short. In the words of most people who ever commentate it, it's so short that if you blink, you will miss it. Now we do see Homura dying in practice. Ram's gonna want that to happen here. I do not believe that we've had an actual restart for the race yet. It does look like the countdown was given, but I believe we're still waiting on the official race. It's so difficult to tell on this track. All right. It does look like I was correct. Homura is looking at the restart. Ram is on the start of race. This might be it, people. I believe it is. All right. Lap one, Homura taking a sizable lead already. Does make a mistake, loses the boost, doesn't die. RamOfPluto coming in with a 16.69 versus Homura's 14.87. Is bouncing around a little bit, needs to use more boosts, needs to give themselves the opportunity to win if Homura dies. Homura 12.59 second lap, keeping it clean. RamOfPluto 14.40 second lap, still trying to chase, needs Homura to die on the final straight. One last corner. Homura is in with an early fire, 40.16, and that is race 4 in our best of 7, concluded with Homura taking it 40.159 to RamOfPluto's 45.116. And that is the end of our match here. We're going to see if we can get them in for some interviews. Hello, Ram. GG
Hello.
on the match.
Yes, that was fun.
Oh, it was quite a fun match to commentate. I unfortunately did have internet issues, but I did not miss any of the actual races, so that's what matters.
Okay.
So, what was it that inspired the actual use of skips on D throws?
That was a bluff. I figure, and I did actually attempt some of them. But I figured if Homura tries the skips and crashes, and I'm just doing full track, that gives me a chance at sabotaging their time.
I gotcha. Hello, Homura. How are you doing?
Hello, very good, thank you.
That's good. And GG on the match today, on the win. Good racing. Kept it clean the whole time.
Yeah, pretty nice. Yeah, I am happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, every time that you posted was just excellent for a tournament situation. So it was very, very fun to watch all of it. And of course, Ram just throwing out some interesting picks that honestly, had certain things gone different ways, could have made a difference. For example, that Mongaza pick. I mean, Mongaza is just a classic hope that the other person makes a mistake type of pick. Ironically, it doesn't have a very high % chance of actually working, but it does have a % chance of working.
Ungazo was my. At this point, I know I'm gonna be done. Let's just do the fastest, quickest match we can.
Oh, goodness. Ugh. So we did have one pod difference between you two, which was on Bulb's Legacy skips. I think Homura went with who I would say is the most common pick in that situation without Ben, which was to pick Mars. It was Bullseye just a comfort pick there, Ram, or were you hoping that Mars would lead to mistakes? Like, what was your thought process?
Bullseye was a comfort pick for me. I honestly, Bullseye was just a default, and then I did some research, saw that this pick isn't completely new, and Mars had taken a lot of things. I just didn't want to try Mars. Bullseye was comfort pick.
That's understandable, and I'm not surprised that you went for Mars there, Homer. But did it ever cross your mind to try Bulls, or did you just want to take the pick that you know is going to work out?
Oh no, balls is it's just very difficult, especially with the skip. Yeah, I just cannot do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, maybe if Mars was banned, I think I would have went to with maybe Mahonic. Yeah, Mahonic over Bullseye. But balls is just very insane.
Yeah, I mean, Bulls does make that track and skip very difficult, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't dare
Do
try
either
that.
of you have anything that you would like to throw out as slots for the match?
Yeah, my only question was what was your pod pick on Spulp's Legacy, and we answered that. I'm curious, Homura, what your thoughts were when you saw Deathra's Revenge with skips.
Yeah, it was a meme. It wasn't going to happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was telling
Wasn't
Dom.
going to happen.
I was
Yeah,
telling
I don't
Dom that was a bluff, and that I figure if you try skips and crash, and I'm just doing full track, that gives me a chance at catching up.
No. Yeah, I don't think anyone will try skips on that throws. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, the track, if you do the old skip, the one that actually has an amount of consistency, you can get your time down to like a 202 or 203 with some amount of consistency. However, missing the skip and dying would just immediately put it back on full track time. So it just doesn't matter with how inconsistent that skip can be. And then, of course, there's the Mega DR skip, and that one you're not getting a tournament. I don't care who you are. All right, well,
I was just gonna say that was one of my worst Spice Mine run. I hit the minecart twice.
lap 1 and 3.
Then
you died a third time on lap 3. What was it before the? It was on the fast train section, like right where at the beginning of that you died as well.
Yeah.
Homer, I do believe that you were only the second person in tournament to get a sub 340. I know that I did it versus Goof in, I want to say, 2022, but I don't really recall seeing other 339s. I might have just missed one, but still, that was an amazing time to put up on the board.
No, yeah. I got it with against Mike last year. And today I played very safe, so I am very surprised that I got it.
You really did just barely put it in there too, the 39.9.
Yeah.
That when I saw the first lap time, I was like, oh, it's about a 340 pace. Little did I know.
Yeah. I think the most interesting race today was Sebulba's Legacy. It was very fun, like to think what to do. The other tracks were a bit boring. Detros, a bit boring. And Moncasa Speedway, yeah. I find the reason why it's a pick, you can crash. Yeah. Well, yeah, it was very nice. It was a very good race.
Yep, for sure. And I appreciate you guys being out here today doing the match, and everybody who woke up, whatever time of day it is for you. At least for me, it was nice and early. But all the people
Yeah.
who woke up to watch this, much appreciated.
Yeah,
You guys
thank
have any
very
final
much.
thoughts?
Oh, I just want to thank you for commentating and around for making everything so smooth to schedule and to play today.
Yes, it was absolutely my pleasure to do commentary. I'm gonna try to be more active in that regard this year, but of course, you never know. Depends on when people put matches in. But... All right. And additional shout outs here. We just want to give a big thank you to SpeedGaming for allowing us to be here every year since 2019. Hoping to keep this going strong for years to come still, but just always a pleasure working with you guys. And then, of course, all the tournament staff, and especially Lightning Pirate, for giving us this amazing setup this year. Beautiful layout, mall inspired, and also completely redoing the entire back end of the bot that we use for these matches. So really massive thank you to him for making all of this possible. But yeah, this was a good match. We do have one more today. It's going to be myself versus Blue Apostrophe, and that's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern time for those of you in the US. And I do believe it is 10:30 p.m. GMT. So regardless, thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you in the next match. May the force be with you.